We live in interesting times. Today's stories. Members of Kenya's Olympic Committee are in court accused of graft. Merkel vows to win back trust after Bavarian's poll debacle. Ford faces outrage in France over factory's closure. Early voting happens in Chicago ahead of the midterm elections. President Trump says Saudi Arabia denies involvement over the missing journalist. Plus, Orange County gets a taste of epic street-style eats. Hello everyone, I am Jennifer Polentan, bringing you stories from around the globe, and this is Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Seven Kenyan officials, including two-time Olympic gold medalist Kipoje Kino, were charged on Monday in a scandal involving the mismanagement of funds during the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. Four of the suspects were in court, while the others, including former sports minister Hassan Wero and Kino, who headed the Olympic Committee, were charged in absentia.
Magistrate Douglas Ogodi said he would issue arrest warrants against the absent parties if they did not turn themselves in by Thursday.
All accused to be released on a bond of Kenya shillings 2 million with one surety of similar amount or a cash bail of Kenya shillings 1 million. If by 6 a.m. on 18th October 2018, as referred to in paragraph 2 above, the accused will not have presented themselves to the DCI, warrants of arrest to issue immediately.
Wario is out of the country as he serves as Kenya's ambassador to Austria. Those present pleaded not guilty and were released on bail of 1 million shillings or $9,900. The men were slapped with charges ranging from abuse of office to failing to comply with laws on the management of public funds. They covered the alleged crimes of embezzlement, the purchase of unauthorized air tickets, overpayment of allowances and expenditure on unauthorized persons, all to the amount of 55 million shillings. Graft is widespread in Kenya, with millions of dollars of public funds going missing each year, and the country was left red-faced in 2016 over graft during its Olympic campaign, which also saw athletes' team uniforms stolen by officials.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel vowed on Monday to win back trust from voters after squabbling within her three-party coalition was blamed for severe election losses in the state of Bavaria. Looking back at a turbulent year since 2017 general elections, which saw painful coalition talks followed by harsh infighting on immigration, she conceded a lot of trust has been lost.
Der Alltag dort, der hat nämlich gezeigt, selbst bei besten Wirtschaftsdaten, bei fast Vollbeschäftigung in fast allen Teilen Bayerns, reicht das für die Menschen noch nicht aus, wenn etwas nicht da ist, was eben so wichtig ist, und das ist Vertrauen. Vertrauen in die politischen Akteure. Und da müssen wir einfach im Rückblick auf die Regierungsbildung und die letzten 12 Monate feststellen, dass da viel Vertrauen verloren gegangen ist. Das gilt auch für die Unionsparteien, von denen man erwartet, dass sie gemeinsam agieren. Und deshalb ist meine Lehre aus dem gestrigen Tag, dass ich auch als Bundeskanzlerin dieser großen Koalition stärker dafür Sorge tragen muss, dass dieses Vertrauen da ist und damit auch die Resultate unserer Arbeit sichtbar werden. Und das werde ich auch mit allem Nachdruck tun.
The governing parties were in shell shock after Sunday's regional election, where the CSU took a 10-point dive to 37%, losing its absolute majority in the Alpine state it has ruled since the 1960s. Merkel's other national coalition partner, the center-left Social Democrats, or the SPD, dropped to 9.7%, halving their support in their worst-ever result in any state poll. The biggest winners Sunday were the opposition Greens, who surged to become Bavaria's second-strongest party with 17.5%, drawing support especially in big cities like Munich. the far-right Alternative for Germany, which has rallied against Merkel's 2015 decision to keep open German borders to a mass influx of refugees and migrants, scored 10%. Their success was cheered by right-wing leaders including Marine Le Pen of France and Italy's Matteo Salvini, who said in Bavaria, change has won. The AfD's Alice Weidel declared that Merkel's government is not a grand coalition, but a mini-coalition, and demanded she clear the way for new elections. Der Spiegel said the poll debacle cast a dark cloud over Merkel's troubled grand coalition, dubbed the GroKo. It said the Bavaria election has made an early end to the GroKo much more likely.
Up next, Ford faces outrage in France over factory's closure. Early voting happens in Chicago ahead of the midterm elections. President Trump says Saudi Arabia denies involvement over the missing journalist. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return in a moment. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C. U.S. carmaker Ford came under fire from the French government on Monday over its plans to close a factory producing gearboxes in southwest France that employs 850 people.
Rien ne justifie cette fermeture sèche. S'il n'y avait pas d'option alternative, si nous n'avions pas travaillé tous ensemble pour avoir un repreneur crédible, je pourrais comprendre la décision de Ford. Une entreprise est libre et elle peut prendre les décisions qu'elle souhaite. Mais à partir du moment où nous avons trouvé un repreneur et qu'il y a une offre crédible, la position de Ford est indéfendable. Et ce qui est indéfendable mérite d'être combattu.
Ford announced in February that it would stop investing in its Blanquefort plant, which has produced gearboxes since 1972. The French and U.S. governments have raised issue. The site has become another battleground between French trade unions and American multinationals that are often portrayed in France as heartless, job-slashing capitalists. Plans by the U.S. appliance maker Whirlpool to close a factory in the northern town of Amiens became a controversy during last year's presidential election campaign won by Emmanuel Macron. One of Macron's far-left rivals, Philippe Patou, is a mechanic at Ford's Blanquefort plant who caught attention during the election with his angry denunciations of multinationals and a pledge to outlaw redundancies. Other past factory closures by American companies such as Goodyear and Caterpillar, part of a wider trend of industrial decline in France, have also led to bitterness and public campaigns. Bordeaux's mayor, former Prime Minister Alain Juppé, walked out of the meeting with Ford's management on Monday, before the end, and denounced the company afterwards as, quote, leading us on. Juppé and Le Maire's anger has focused on Ford's reluctance to favor an offer for the site from Punch Powerglide, a manufacturer based in the eastern French city of Strasbourg, which would come with pledges of more state aid.
Et nous allons nous battre, je le redis, jusqu'au bout pour obtenir que la reprise soit l'option retenue par Ford, parce que c'est la seule qui a du sens et qu'on ne peut pas, après des décennies d'activité sur un site, partir en se lavant les mains de la suite et de ce qui peut arriver par la suite. Ce serait totalement irresponsable et totalement indéfendable. Que ce soit du côté du conseiller économique de M. Trump que du côté du secrétaire américain au Trésor, M. Mnuchin, une réponse constructive et ouverte. Ils voient parfaitement la difficulté que cela peut poser. Ils m'ont assuré qu'ils allaient examiner de près le dossier et qu'ils étaient tout à fait disposés à soutenir le gouvernement français.
Voter registration deadlines for the upcoming November midterm elections are near in most U.S. states, and early voting has begun in more than a dozen states, including Illinois.
What does it mean to be able to vote? Kind of autonomy over your body, being able to make decisions over your own body opposed to people who don't really represent you as a woman. Vote as if your life depends on it, because your life does depend on it. Your education, your economic opportunities, reproductive rights, all of those things are impacted by your ability to vote.
It's important for women to come out because women seem to be under grave attack, both from our administration on the federal level as well as our local level. It's important to vote because voting will affect change. We know that. We've seen that historically throughout the years. And so what we know about voting and the importance of it is that if we do vote, we can help to elect people in office who support women and their families and communities and who really want to stand up and do the right thing.
U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday he received a strong denial from Saudi Arabia's king of any involvement in the disappearance of a critical journalist, and the rogue killers might be to blame.
I just spoke with the King of Saudi Arabia, who denies any knowledge of what took place with regard to, as he said, his Saudi Arabian citizen.
Trump said that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was on his way to Saudi Arabia within the hour to discuss the controversy over journalist Jamal Khashoggi, a contributor to the Washington Post who vanished after visiting the Saudi consulate in Istanbul.
I've asked Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to immediately get on a plane, go to Saudi Arabia, go to other places if necessary, which he probably will, but with regard to this, go to Turkey if necessary. That I feel much differently about Turkey today than I felt about them 2 days ago. I have a very good feeling toward Turkey. 2 days ago, I did not. I tell you that his denial to me is just one very, relatively fast phone call, probably lasted 20 minutes. His denial to me could not have been stronger, that he had no knowledge, and it sounded like he, and also the Crown Prince, had no knowledge.
When we come back, Orange County gets a taste of epic street-style eats. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return shortly. This is Eagle News, Washington, D.C., and I am Jennifer Polentan. Fries topped with real crab meat, ramen you shake before eating, and ice cream that's fried, and bubble tea in a huge, and we mean huge, light bulb container. You name it and you'll find it. Eagle News correspondents Eva and Alan Basalahe take us to the OC Night Market, where one experiences nothing less than epic street-style eats. Take a look.
Face forward, foodie fanatics, for fantastic feasting featuring fabulously filling flavors.
That's a lot of F's you mentioned there.
True, but the cuisine at the OC Night Market definitely gets an A+. You see what I did just there?
Good job. When it comes to what you can slurp, munch, gulp, and guzzle, the night market has more than enough vendors to satisfy just about everyone.
Our friends Flynn, Jez, and Jareen are going to navigate the fairgrounds and taste their way through some of the best of what the night market has to offer. It's a tough job, and they're the lucky ones to do it.
So you guys are here today at Rockin' Tacos. We specialize in tacos and fries. Mostly it's fusion, so it's like Vietnamese and Mexican, Japanese flavors inside the fries and inside the tacos. There are other fusion places in the world, but I think really it's about the quality. Like, we use real crabs. Our pho meat has been simmering in broth for like 8 hours. So it's really the quality of the food and the process.
So we call it shake ramen. We basically shake the ramen and then open the seal and we eat like that. It's more like a to-go style. It's more convenience versus like something you got to sit down and eat. You could just get up and go. Ours is a pork belly. Shoyu is very #1. It sells a lot, so it basically is most popular sauce. Miso is in the second one. Our ground beef and tofu. A lot of people like to do the vegetarian side or the tofu and the veggies. So that's what we have.
We have the Okamoto kitchen truck right here. It's a little bit of a Japanese influence into it. Not only do we do the OC Night Market, we do 6 to 6. A lot of anime, kind of comic stuff going on, anything to do with entertainment, electronics, and just everywhere else, honestly. So every weekend we're out and about, festivals, life is beautiful, everywhere. The JC plate can go wrong with that one. The Okamoto, the teriyaki is really good stuff. The Nanbam is my favorite. It's a combination of the teriyaki with the tartar sauce on a chicken sandwich. It's just really good.
With an abundance of Epicurean eats to choose from, the ladies started to search for a palate-pleasing dessert. So Jez, did you find another winner for us?
Yep, I found this food truck called Frack's Fried Ice Cream.
Fried ice cream? Those are two of my most favorite words ever.
We wanted to open a food truck in Los Angeles, and we sort of did our research and saw what everybody had done and what they had not done, and no one had done this. So we decided to give it a shot, and it worked out pretty good. We're the only establishment in America that has a menu dedicated solely to fried ice cream. Many restaurants have, one style or one kind, but we took all the different menus and we put them all on one, and that's what sets us apart. Nobody else does fried ice cream. We don't sell scoops, we don't sell shakes, nothing, just fried ice cream. People try to figure it out because the first question is, what is fried ice cream? How do you do it? How does it not melt? But then after they taste it, they don't really care about the questions. They just want more.
Our booth is called King Bob. One of the things we emphasize is the extra large of the light bulb. This is what we call super size or king size, because what we call King Bob.
Yes.
Okay, and this is just a regular size. Nowadays, it's a lot of creativity. You need to come up with something special instead of just just a cup. Obviously, this is not something new, especially in the Asian area. But we kind of take a little bit of the idea. We also add the little light bulb over here. This is like something they don't have it over there in Asia, which makes us a little bit special. Obviously, the night market, so you want to have a little light. Right?
Exactly, for a night market, it's perfect.
Yeah.
We quite literally heard one of your customers say that they only came to the OC Night Market because they saw this online and they were so curious about it. Do you find that happens a lot?
Nowadays, Instagram, Facebook, social media, they like to take pictures. Young people, social media, Instagram, you want to get more likes, get more followers. Obviously, this is a perfect product for that.
Tonight is OC Night Market, which is a sister event to 626 Night Market in OC. So we have out a lot of food vendors, an art walk, shopping with merch and crafts vendors, and also games. People want to come to the OC Night Market to try the newest food trends, such as a drink and a light bulb, or maybe like the rainbow elote. But then also they want to feel the sense of community, to meet their friends and family out here.
So you could go and get food because there's a place where you could get different types of corn.
And what is your favorite that you've experienced here at the OC Night Market?
The food and the stores, because there's a lot of cool things at the stores, like the booths, and there's a lot of food to eat.
How would you describe the OC Night Market?
Fun and awesome. Cool and happy.
What better way to end a day than with a nightlight?
Oh, I can think of one way. If that nightlight tastes delicious. Reporting from Costa Mesa, California for Eagle News, I'm Alan.
And I'm Eva with Flan, Jez, and Jareen.
And we are one with 25.
Thank you, Eva and Alan. That is today's Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Join us tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at eaglenews.ph and eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenewsph. Thank you for watching. I am Jennifer Polentan, and I am one with 25.